Somebody puts their hand out and says a name, and you say it back, and you smile, and you are already gone. 4 seconds later, you are standing there having a perfectly good conversation with a person whose name has completely left the building. You can see their face, you can hear their voice. You could pick them out of a crowd 6 months from now. But the name is not there, and now you are running a small private emergency in the back of your head, trying to work out how long you can keep talking before somebody else walks up and you have to introduce them. Here is what that moment teaches you about the mind, and it explains a great deal more than one awkward handshake. Almost everyone who does this believes it says something about their character. They think it means they are self-absorbed, or scattered, or that they do not really care about people, and a surprising number of them are quietly worried it means something is going wrong in their brain. In almost every case, all three of those readings are wrong. What is actually happening is a specific, well-documented failure that happens at a specific moment, for reasons that have nothing to do with how much you care. So let me take you through the 7 things going on underneath, and by the end you will know exactly where the name went and why it was never really yours to begin with. Start with the one that explains most of it. A name is the hardest possible thing to remember, and it is hardest for a reason that has nothing to do with you. There is a classic demonstration of this in cognitive psychology. Researchers showed people faces and gave them a piece of information about each one, and crucially, some words appeared as both. For one face, Baker was the man's job. For another face, Baker was the man's surname. Same word, same faces, same amount of study time. People remembered it dramatically better as the job. That result, first reported by McWeeny, Young, Hay and Ellis in 1987, is known as the Baker-Baker paradox, and it exposes the whole problem. Baker the occupation opens a door into everything you already know. The flower, the early mornings, the smell of bread, the apron, and any one of those is a road back to the memory. Baker the surname opens nothing. It is a bare label attached to a face with no meaning behind it. Your memory is not a hard drive that stores whatever it is handed. It is a network that holds on to things by tying them to other things, and a name arrives with nothing to tie it to. The second thing is about the exact moment the name is delivered, and this is the part people never suspect. Think about when a name gets said. It gets said in the 2 seconds when you are shaking a hand, adjusting your posture, deciding what your face should be doing, and preparing whatever you are about to say about yourself. There is a specific finding for this, sometimes called the next in line effect, going back to work by Brenner in the early 1970s. When people take turns speaking, they show clearly worse memory for what was said immediately before their own turn, because they are internally rehearsing their own contribution instead of processing the incoming information. An introduction is the purest possible version of that. The other person's name lands in the exact half second when your attention is fully occupied with going next. It is not that you forgot the name, it is that you were never in the room when it was said. The third thing follows from that, and it is the piece that matters most if you want to fix it. You cannot forget something you never encoded. There is a real difference between a memory that was formed and cannot be retrieved, and information that never got written down in the first place. The first one feels like the name is on the tip of your tongue, circling, almost there. The second one feels like a blank wall, because there is nothing behind it to reach for. Almost everybody who says they are terrible with names is describing the blank wall, which means the failure happened at the very front of the process, before storage, not at the back. This is why every trick that actually works, repeating the name back, using it in your next sentence, looking at the person's face while you say it, does its work in the first 5 seconds. You are not strengthening a weak memory, you are creating one that otherwise would not exist. The fourth thing is the social loop that makes it all worse. And this is the one that turns a small cognitive glitch into a genuinely bad evening. The moment you realize the name is gone, your attention leaves the conversation and goes looking for it. Now you are half listening to a person while running a background search, which means you are encoding almost nothing else they say either. You miss the detail about their job. You miss the city they mentioned. And by the end of the conversation, you have not just lost the name, you have lost the entire person, so the next time you see them, you have nothing at all to work with, and the whole thing compounds. This is also where the shame arrives. People assume the other person will read the blank as indifference, so they hide it, and hiding it costs even more attention, which guarantees they will not encode anything for the rest of the night. The cheapest possible fix is the one almost nobody takes, which is to say, within the first minute, that you did not catch it and to ask again. Ask at minute 1 and it is a normal human moment. Ask at minute 40 and it is an apology. The fifth thing is about how faces and names are handled differently, and it explains the strangest part of the experience. You can remember the face perfectly and the name not at all, and never the reverse. That is not an accident. Recognizing a face is something the brain is extraordinarily specialized for, running on dedicated machinery that has been shaped for a very long time, and it operates fast and without effort. Retrieving the name attached to that face is a separate step that has to go through language, and it depends on a much thinner connection. That is why the classic experience is knowing everything about somebody, their job, their kids, where you met, while the name refuses to come. You have the whole file. The label on the file is what fell off. The sixth thing is about the order in which your brain unpacks a person, and it is the reason the name is always the casualty. Researchers who study face recognition describe the process as a chain rather than a single lookup. Seeing a face triggers a sense of familiarity first, just the flat signal that you have seen this person before. Then comes everything you know about them, the job, the context, the fact that they have a dog. And only after all of that does the name become available, because the name hangs off the end of the chain and cannot be reached any other way. That structure has a brutal consequence. Every link in the chain can succeed and the last one can still fail, and when it fails you are left in the exact position everybody recognizes, standing there certain that this is Karen's brother who fixes boats, with no name attached to any of it. The order also explains why the name comes back to you at 11 the next morning while you are doing something completely unrelated. You stopped pulling on the chain, the pressure came off, and the last link finally connected on its own. The seventh thing is the one people are actually afraid of, so let me address it directly and honestly. Occasional name blanking, including the common experience of walking into a room and having a familiar person's name evaporate, is a normal feature of a healthy memory, and it does get somewhat more common with age. That by itself is not a warning sign. What clinicians look at is different in kind rather than degree. The concern is not forgetting a name, it is forgetting the person. It is not misplacing a word. It is a change in the ability to follow a conversation, to handle a familiar route, to manage tasks you have done for 20 years. If you find yourself worried, the honest answer is that this is not something to settle from a video, and a real evaluation exists precisely for that. But the specific pattern in the title of this one, where the name vanishes in the first 4 seconds and the face stays perfect, is the least concerning version there is, because it is an encoding failure at the door, not a loss of anything that was ever inside. So step back, because what runs through all 7 of those is where the real answer lives. Every one of those mechanisms is about attention, and none of them is about caring. The name failed because it was meaningless, because it arrived in a crowded second, because you were preparing your own line, because you were managing your face, because the pathway between a face and its label is thin. Not one of those is a statement about how much the person in front of you matters to you. And yet almost everyone who does this has quietly concluded the opposite about themselves, which is a strange and unfair verdict to carry around. Now, let me answer the question in the title as precisely as I can, because there is something real to say. Forgetting names instantly does reveal something. It reveals where your attention goes in the first moments of meeting a person. Some people, in that first handshake, are attending outward, watching the other person and taking them in. Others are attending inward, monitoring their own performance, checking their posture, planning their sentence, wondering how they are being read. The inward pattern is more common in people who are socially anxious, in people who care a great deal about the impression they make, and in people who are simply carrying too much that day. That is what this actually reveals. Not indifference, usually the opposite of indifference. The people who forget names fastest are very often the ones spending the most effort on the interaction, just aimed in the wrong direction. There is a second thing it can reveal, and this one is worth naming because it is far more mundane than the story people tell themselves. Sometimes it reveals load. A person running on 5 hours of sleep, managing a sick parent, holding a work problem in their head, is not going to encode a stranger's surname, and no amount of goodwill will change that, because the front end of memory runs on attention, and attention is a finite budget. On a light week you will hold names fine. On a heavy week you will lose them at the door. That is not a personality trait fluctuating. That is a resource running out. So here is the part that changes what you actually do the next time it happens. Because the mechanism is at the front end, the fix is at the front end too, and it is embarrassingly small. Ask the person to say it again. Say it back to them once, out loud in your next sentence. Look at their face while you say it, so the label gets tied to the picture. And find one thing about the name that is not the name, a person you know who shares it, a word it sounds like, anything at all, because you are building the door that Baker the surname does not come with. That is the entire method, and it works because it fixes the actual problem instead of the imaginary one. There is one more piece of practical honesty worth adding, which is that the size of the group changes everything and almost nobody accounts for it. One introduction is a manageable amount of work. 9 introductions in a circle, delivered at speed while you are holding a drink and being looked at, is not a memory task that any normal person passes, and the people who appear to pass it are usually doing something specific rather than something innate. If you know you are walking into that, the realistic goal is not 9 names, it is 2. Pick the 2 people you are most likely to speak with again, do the whole 5-second routine on them properly, and let the other 7 go without guilt, because trying to hold all 9 is the reliable way to end up with 0. And if you are the one running the room, you can spare everybody the private emergency by simply using people's names out loud in the first few minutes, which hands the name back to every person who missed it and costs you nothing at all. And for the imaginary one, the story where this means you are self-absorbed or bad with people, I would let that go entirely. The next time you are standing there 4 seconds in, running that small private emergency, notice what it is actually made of. You are not standing there because you did not care enough to remember. You are standing there because in the 1 second the name was available, you were busy trying to be worth remembering. Those are not the same failure, and only one of them is worth feeling bad about. If this took a weight off your shoulders, a like and a subscribe would genuinely help.